Mhm.
Hey family, welcome back to another episode of Discovering the You podcast. My name is Nikki Ann, for those who don't know, and for those who are returning resident, thank you so much for being a part of this journey. You are welcome. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and listen. Don't forget to leave a comment. I love reading the comments. So today I have for you, well, I believe it's going to be a very powerful and informative episode. On my right, I have Georgia. And on my left, I have Sashana. They are going to take us on the journey to motherhood. So I want you to stick around. We'll be right back.
You are my shoulder to lean on. Your love has kept me strong. Help me carry on. My eyes shining like through the dark night. Tell me of my whole life. Made everything alright. I am blessed.
Welcome back, guys. So, as I said before, I have two powerful women of God with me today just to walk us on their journey to motherhood. We'll start with Georgia. So, your mother, right?
Yes, I
Of
am.
how many?
One.
All right. You have one boy?
One. Yes. One boy. Yes.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 2 years old.
Okay. And you, Sashana?
Yes, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of two,
Mhm.
a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. It's gonna be 7 this year.
Talk to me about motherhood. You got married and the expectations were there. Okay, tree leaf is falling and all of that. That's fine. What was it like for you? Starting with you, Sashana.
Before we got married,
Mhm.
I realized that I, always had some terrible period, terrible cycles,
Mhm.
pain, just so many things that we could not understand. I would go to the doctor, would spend a whole lot of money visiting different doctors, trying to get information on what was going on, but
Mhm.
nobody was able to tell me.
Mhm.
I remember before we got married, when we were dating, the doctor looked at me and looked at Sean and said, you know that you can just forget about children, right?
What?
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
man. He
Wow.
said, you can't forget about kids, right? Because this will never happen for you.
Wow.
And I remember looking at Sean and I said to him, babe, I'm not going to hold you back. Because we did talk about this and we did share that we both wanted children. And the doctor is saying X. And Sean is saying, I'm not going anywhere. Sean said, I know what I told God. And so I am trusting God and believing God that He will do what He said that He would do for me. And the journey was just back and forth, back and forth. I actually had to do surgery.
Mhm.
I was diagnosed with endometriosis,
Mhm.
ovarian cyst, fibroid. Hormone imbalance. I don't produce eggs when they supposed. Everything that led to me not having a child, that was it for me.
Wow.
But we just took a leap of faith.
You talk to me. When you got married,
Mhm.
what was your expectation and so on?
So my expectations, our expectations were a bit different because at first I know that I had PCOS.
Okay.
No, most people can relate.
Mhm.
No, because I realized that I'm seeing it more often, as in the side effects or the symptoms of PCOS. Now, for those who don't know the meaning of PCOS, PCOS, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome, where cysts grows on your ovaries. So I knew that I had this, and I knew that it would have been a challenge to give birth.
Mhm.
However, when the time came, it was hard.
Wow.
It was hard to deal with. It was hard because the results wasn't positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And we tried and we tried and we tried, and it wasn't all at once. It was months after months of trying. We did go to the doctor. Of course, I had to get a specialist to say, hey, even though you have PCOS, it's still possible.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you PCOS and you
Endometriosis, PCOS, and fibroid.
what? Listen,
Am-
all three.
along with hormone imbalance.
Oh my
and
God.
I don't release eggs.
So you're a testimony. Okay, just to give you some context, guys. So we're in Child's Month, right? And I wanted to kind of do a little focus on the children this month, but I want to zoom in on the mothers, their journey to giving birth. And I know that these two, yeah, man, their testimony, it will help somebody out there, including myself. So talk to me now. You said that you started doing prophetic.
Before we went there, I still have that container at home right now. It's a container with a bunch of negative pregnancy tests. Trying after trying for 3 years, trying. And I said, babe, we're gonna do this prophetic action. We're going to open an account and we're going to call it BBF. He said, what BBF means? I said, we're going to call it Baby Funding Account.
Wow.
And he said, yeah, okay. And for 3 years, we sold into that account. For 3 years, even doctor saying XYZ. And the Lord led me to a doctor who believed otherwise.
Oh my
She said, so Shauna, don't worry, you're going to have children. You're going to have children. You have endometriosis, but you're going to have kids. And we started sewing the thing. I did the operation. I went on treatment and, bam, 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 bam. And it didn't happen. I missed it. But, also working in a toxic environment had a lot to do with it. I resigned the 4th of March and by April 29th, I conceived. Wow. By
Oh
April
my
29th, I conceived.
Yeah. So you did prophetic action. You went to the doctor, but you still work spiritual and the natural together.
Absolutely.
So you have some of us ladies, we are so spiritual, so we don't want to talk about the natural side of life.
true.
How important it is for us to check out the whole aspect of our body and just work on it from the medical side.
All right. So the thing with PCOS, well, speaking from experience, the thing with PCOS is they say you have to eat right, you have to exercise, you have to ensure that you're doing everything right. You can't stress out yourself. Actually, say if you're in a stressful environment, I think it really does prevent you from being pregnant.
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody. Maybe some people thrive in stress. I don't know, but I don't. And so it is important to medically check out yourself. Of course, we can have faith, but God give you wisdom,
Absolutely.
God give us wisdom. And so even though we have faith, God give these doctors wisdom. And so we just have to go to the doctor sometime. Let them check it out. I actually had a test done for endometriosis. I don't have endometriosis, but we were checking out all the things that could
the possibilities.
Yeah. But it is important, guys. Check out yourself. Don't just say, sit down and say, Lord Jesus. We just have wait for God give everybody wisdom. So we just have to work it.
Oh my God. What Georgia knocked me hard today, but go on.
So, when we found out that I had PCOS, of course we were trying it naturally, because what else we're going what is there to do than exercise and eat, right? So we were trying, it was not successful. It was not working. I was crying on the floor. I was frustrated.
Before you even go there, because this is interesting, I really want to talk about, because I hear the good side of things. What was it like going through the process? Going to the doctors, keeping up with your appointments, sticking to a proper diet, exercising mentally, emotionally. One word.
Overwhelming.
And you
I agree.
Overwhelming.
I agree.
First of all, when we're living in Old Harbor and we have to travel to Kingston every month, sometimes twice for the month, just to be on top of things. You're doing all sorts of tests. You're doing ultrasound. You're checking the womb. You're checking the ovaries. You're checking the this. Then at my operation, I did a diagnostic lab where they put a camera down my throat with flashlights and cut a hole in my navel to searching for what was the issue, and they couldn't find the endometriosis tissue. And then they found the tissue lodged right behind my uterus. Right behind my uterus. So we had to do the diagnostic lab, right? And that was them trying to find out if I had endometriosis. I remember I could not even call the word endometriosis. No, that is a chronic, often painful disease. It is a disease where the tissue similar to the uterine lining grows outside of the uterus, causing inflammation, scar tissue, and infertility. So before I became a mother, I did experience infertility. And so they found the tissue. But I still have hope. And so I had a decision to make. Okay, let them operate or wait and trust God to get my children first. Then I do the operation. And I opted to do the latter. I waited. And while I waited, I sowed the seed. Each month, we will just be putting up the account for 3 years. The account was there just beeping up.
Nice.
What was your prophetic move?
All right. So, separate and apart from doing the right things or what we thought was the right things, were the right things, I had an aunt and she's Christian. And she said, Tanya, she called me Tanya, I'm Georgia, but it's a pet name. Jamaicans have 10 pet names. She said, Tanya, I dreamt that you have a baby. But I think she didn't tell us the sex, but I think she said it was a girl. I don't remember. And I was excited and ready. I'm saying, yes, God, thank you, Jesus. And I sowed in the prophetic. I agreed with her. I
Mhm.
came in agreement with her.
Mhm.
Anyway, we were there and we were just believing.
Mhm.
We didn't do anything major.
Extra,
We
yeah.
didn't, have the
Yeah.
account. We didn't
Yeah.
do any of that. As a matter of fact, we had a lot going on at the time,
Yeah.
but we just had faith and we just worked and
I like
tried.
that. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that because I love your prophetic move, but I like the balance because sometimes persons are not aware. We are not, we don't come into that revelation that you can actually do a prophetic move. Like, for example, buy baby clothes. Some people,
Yes.
I have baby clothes.
Yes.
So buy baby clothes, get the pram, get the this, get the that. But you, on the other hand, you receive a word and you said, I didn't do any of that, but I had faith. Because lest some of us think that we can do the prophetic action and don't have faith. But the faith,
The balance is important.
the balance is
The
important.
balance is
Yeah,
important.
talk
And,
to me
I
about
love
that.
the fact that she said that because while we were sewing, we could be sewing and nothing don't happen.
Yes.
But while we were sewing and visiting the doctor and feeling overwhelmed, I'm reminded, and Sean is an optimistic one. He kept saying, "Ma, this will happen for us." In fact, we were anticipating twins.
Oh.
Wow.
We wanted twins.
Yes.
But the twin didn't come. We got a single one, and we're grateful to God. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Yeah.
But yeah, the faith, the prophetic action can't work without the faith.
Come on,
It
no.
has to work
together.
hand in
Mhm,
hand. Yeah, man.
mhm.
And so that was it for me.
Yeah, and that was it for you.
That was
But
it.
I want to know, because I asked you earlier about, you said overwhelmed. It was overwhelming. Talk to me about some of those days. Why you didn't give up? Why you didn't give? Because come on now. Come on.
I
You
know,
try and
right?
you've been trying and you've been
For
trying.
3
Why you didn't give up?
I think it was desperation to another level. It's desperation in the beginning, but then after the prophetic actions and then just my faith just increasing, it was more like, this is my birthright.
Yes.
God, give me this. Him saying, call me woman, and women are nurturers and they're carriers, and He gave me a womb to bring forth a child. I could not give up. I could
like
not
that.
give up. I had to press on. It's almost like me see my destiny.
Yes.
I mean, not see it, but me see it,
Yes.
and I had to keep going. I had to keep going at it. Had to.
I like that.
Had
Jesus.
to.
It's your birthright.
My birthright.
That's powerful. Why you didn't give up?
Why? I won't say that my faith didn't waver.
Yes.
Oh,
I have to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. There are moments.
I wouldn't say, but I couldn't give up because I thought that there's no way I am me and I cannot produce a child. Do you know me?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I never talk to the devil. Never say, you know me, you know who I am, who I am and whose I am. Sometimes I have to talk to the devil because in that season as well, I believe I had a lot of spiritual warfare. Right? Eventually, I cried on the ground. I was depressed. I was oppressed. There's not one bad thing I could say that I didn't go through. Sometimes I didn't say, you're not gonna get pregnant, you're not gonna get husband.
That's the hurtful.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I don't tell you these things, you don't know, but
Yeah.
I always try to be careful of the words that I say, but it was, I should say, it was extremely overwhelming. I felt like I was not enough. You're a woman, you cannot produce, you cannot give your husband a child. Like,
I have told him at this time
no,
because she gone low.
it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're a woman, you can't produce, you can't give your husband a child.
Yeah.
You're not enough. The devil will spend it. You're not enough.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
You think you're somebody and nobody, and that's how you feel as a woman. When you
So
can't
what I'm getting from the both of you is that there were mental warfare, emotional battles, just a war with your faith and you believe in God for what He has promised and what you know that is your birthright.
It's my
So
birthright.
even if you didn't get a prophetic word concerning a child,
birthright.
you would still understand that this is your
I'm
birthright.
a birthright.
Yes.
I was created as woman
Yes.
to more children.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
All right. So I like me not tell you, it all the story was nice, but I want to understand now when that time was getting close. Did you feel like a change? I feel like something is about to happen. How did you know that this was it now?
So when I after the treatment now, so according to the doctor, it's bam, 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 bam. I follow the instructions. So take this for 5 days, stop, take this for 2 days, then get close to my husband. And I messed up the first time. I guess I was too anxious.
Wow.
And I messed it up and I poured the depression. She said, Shoshana, just relax.
Relax.
We're gonna go at it immediately. And we went at it. I don't know, But it's almost like I felt the connection. And I said, nothing another cause not for ship and disconnect this time. And I said, all right, Shoshana, free. Be anxious for nothing. This is it. And I just went accordingly and I did it and did what I was supposed to do. And I said, all right, there. And I waited and I said, all right. And I waited. And can you imagine that the Holy Spirit promised to take the pregnancy test. And when I did, I saw negative. The devil is a liar. I hold my head. So the devil is a liar. I hold my head. My brother came down at the time and he was in Jamaica. And I said, babe, look at this and I showed my brother and I didn't cry, but I felt that. And I said,
disappointment.
I said, God, what is this? What I believe you come to me to take this.
Yeah.
And I sat down and my brother said to me, Stefana, don't worry. Because I believe that God is preparing you for motherhood. That's what he said to me, you know. Ladies, I got up to go back to the bathroom, close to where the container was to pick up the nail clip. And I heard, look at the test once more. Yes, so when I looked at the test, I saw the 2 lines. I said, give me the other test, give me the other test. I took the other test, and the other test, it was the brightest line I have ever seen in my pregnancy positive test. And I saw the other line. That was 9 p.m. And from 9 p.m. to about 1 a.m. the morning, we worshiped.
I want
We
to
were
cry.
on the floor. My brother, Sean, and I, we were on the floor. You know which song? And I called it my song. You made a way. When our backs were against the wall and it looked as if it was over. And we worshiped. And we worshiped. And let me tell you something. Not because you're carrying a promise means that the enemy will go back off. All right. I'm telling you that after going through that warfare to conceive, after we conceived, listen, there was warfare for bringing through the promise.
Stick up in. Guys, I'm not saying no lie. They want more people cry this morning, but I'm not even gonna cry now. Stick around because we're gonna continue this discussion, this conversation, this empowerment session because for me means a lot. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? To step into the purpose you were created for? Introducing Discovering the You Coaching Services, your guide to discovering the you God designed you to be. Led by Wired to Win DNA coach Nikki and Samuels, we provide spiritual growth mentorship, productivity planning, purpose discovery, and Christian leadership mentorship customized to help you thrive in every area of life. It's time to stop wondering and start winning. You were made for more. Call or WhatsApp 876-883-6448 or email discoveringtheyou@gmail.com to begin your journey today.
Welcome back, guys. I am sure, especially for the women out there who probably you are going through something similar. Sashana and Georgia testimony is doing something in your heart today. So I want you to stick around because Sashana and Georgia just get started, you know. I don't know where they're taking us, you know, but I'm sure when they land us, we will definitely be empowered for the journey, whatever your journey looks like. So talk to me, Sashana. You were talking about, you know, the whole aspect of the worship after you found out.
So worship. But after that, after we confirmed everything at the doctor now, the warfare began. The warfare began at about 14 weeks. This is after we found out the sex. Oh, the Holy Spirit told me what child is giving me. When my husband and I were dating, we got 2 names. We got Naomi and we got Jonathan. Jonathan means gifts from God. And I remember one day I was watching and I was like, I'm gonna come and pray about the sex of my child. And I went inside and I was folding up the clothes and the Holy Spirit said, I'm giving you a gift. I said, yeah, but boy or girl? And I hear, I'm giving you a gift. I said, yeah, me hear you, but is it a boy or a girl? And he said, I'm giving you a gift. I thought, oh my God, it's a boy. The following week we went to do the test. And I said, I'm just here to confirm that I'm having a son, a gift, a Jonathan, and that was confirmed.
How did you know that you conceived? How did you feel? Did you feel the change in your body? Did an angel come and said you are going to give birth?
No.
How did you just?
I actually gave up.
Oh gosh.
You
see the difference in story. You gave up.
I gave up because it began to be too much. I was extremely depressed. I had to let it go. Because you know why? Sometimes we hold on, I would try for self, I was self-aware.
Yeah.
So I had to give up in order for God to work.
Yes.
Step in.
Yes.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was at work. I honestly, I just felt like I needed to get a test.
Wow.
I just felt like I gave up. But I felt like I need to go down to the pharmacy,
Get the test
go get
now.
a test.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, my husband was also at my workplace because I don't know what had happened, but he was there. He was working in my office. I'm wrong. I didn't even tell him that I was going to buy a test. I'm a run gun at the bathroom and take the test, and it was a positive. I'm gonna come out. I'm like, yep. And so what happened? He said,
Oh my
that was it.
goodness.
Wow.
That was it.
Got me want to bar. Like these stories are so interesting. Like you are at work and the Lord spoke.
Get a test.
These stories. How did you process all of that? You remember now you're coming from giving no to conceiving. Hello.
I was just excited, so happy. I'm like, I am worthy. Wow. I am
it.
I am worthy.
That's it.
I felt like I have come in hope for coming through.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the camera and telling people about their worthiness.
Yeah.
I felt worthy.
Yeah.
Like I'm finally fulfilling my job as a woman, as a wife.
That's it. That's
how I felt.
Mhm.
And that was it. From there, we're just excited that it happened. And after that, everything went downhill. But
Wow.
yeah,
Like the two stories are so different yet similar because you found out at work and I mean in a state of giving up.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Now so after you found out now the excitement and you start walking by eggshell because you're pregnant.
So you're not telling anybody.
Body, right.
before
My
time.
husband start getting buckle olive oil and big buckle every day. Him and night morning and every prayed over the child.
Yeah.
By the time I was 14 weeks, I was experiencing pain. By the time I got to the hospital, I was bleeding. By the time I got to the hospital, I was bleeding. And I said, what does this mean?
Yeah.
I'm protective now and I'm mother mode. I said, Doc, what does this mean? And the doctor that I saw was not my original doctor, and they were very casual. And some of the times these professionals, because they've done it so many times. No, it's the first time for me though.
Yeah.
And so, it's just a thought for miscarriage.
Oh,
What?
so
My
casually,
God.
wow.
Me hold my belly, me hold my heart, me hold everything. And I started bawling. Me never did think about fate at that time. I just started crying and they said that I have to go do ultrasound to see what's going on. They need to take out the baby, whatever the case is. And I sat on the bench and I called my sister. And my sister said, God is not a king though.
Exactly.
She said, no, give good gift. Give
take
good
it
gift
back.
and take it back. And I sat there and I said, and I started to declare, I said, God, remember what you tell me. And that this is a miracle. You said yes when everybody had said no.
Yes.
When my body said, and I started to pray. Then and he called me. Listen to me, my mindset is a warrior. You know?
Hey.
Then so when they called, say, what's happening? The fibroid started growing with the baby. The fibroid started growing with Jonathan. When I look at that ultrasound, Jonathan I kick on the
Yes.
side. I saw the baby, I kick up. And I say, you guys said what now?
Yes.
I said, that's my child, and he is a miracle, and he must live to decree and declare the goodness of God. And that's how I started this week. I mean, several things happened. I ended up in the hospital. I was on bed rest. I was admitted in the hospital because so many different things was happening. I was threatened for preeclampsia, so many different things. So they had to take him at 37.
Okay.
It was challenging. It was a lot. My husband treated me like I was the egg. I wasn't walking on eggshell. I was the egg. I couldn't even take a cup of water to drink. I couldn't do anything, but he was such an amazing support.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome back, Lady Sashana. You were talking about the whole matter of the fibroid.
The fibroid was actually growing with the baby at this point at 14 weeks, and so they're saying that the pregnancy was threatened for a miscarriage. Very casually,
Wow.
it's another miscarriage. But I prayed against that, and by the time we got to doing the ultrasound, I saw Jonathan kicking.
Yes.
That fibroid, it actually disappeared after a while. You know, I get well for beat up with the child.
Yes.
Right. Literally kicking the fibroid, kicking, and he was alive.
So what I'm getting from you now is that the doctor said it's a threat for miscarriage. But then when you check, the baby was
alive, kicking, literally fighting out that fibroid.
Oh my God.
interesting. Well, what was your challenge, Georgia?
From start to finish, it was challenging. From morning sickness, I mean, it's chronic. I don't know what they call it, but I was constantly throwing up. I developed crystal. It's a thing where you vomit so much that you don't have enough fluid. I might have to look for the correct term, but I had crystal. I was extremely dehydrated. And so it was just things after things happening. Everything went downhill. I am sick. I got fired from my job because the woman decided to say, we can't work from, it's a small company. So I understood. I couldn't tell the woman say, she had to hire somebody else. Wow. And then, upon going to my gynecologist, because some friends of my husband had recommended that, person. But no, it was actually later, but we were going to a specific gynecologist, and I don't think she had the time. You remember you said they casually just said they're so used to these things happening, they don't take into consideration that, you know, I need my first time. It's new to me. I need the support. That's your job. But people just casually do them job. They then, okay, just another one. And so I got sick. I had to be put on bed rest. When I come to find out, I had an incontinence. So I was losing so much fluid. I went to the doctor time and time again, back and forth. They tell him that everything is all right. And in myself, I knew that something was wrong. I thought that something was wrong. Doctors check me, because from one doctor to the next doctor, my belief said, you're not what you're supposed to do. So we go on next doctor, then we go public. Then I was just all over. It was heart-wrenching. It was bad. It was bad. I am scarred for life.
Oh my God.
But eventually, upon going to the doctors and them say, oh, everything all right, normal to lose fluid. I asked my friend, we have baby before. She said, oh, she lost a lot of fluids. And I thought, okay, it's fine. And then somebody said, oh, that does sound fine. And it was just other person's experience. Then when I finally went back, because I decided, no, it has to stop. The baby had reached the cervix. The digits were exposed. There was nothing that could be done. Yeah, that was
And then, so nothing could be done.
nothing could be
But you
done.
have the baby now, right?
So that was the first pregnancy.
Oh, so you
So I lost my first baby
Oh my.
at 28 weeks.
Further than I did. I lost mine at
I think that
16 weeks.
So hold on there. So you lost one,
I
you lost one
the
before
second
you
one.
give birth
The
to.
second one. I lost the second one.
Okay, so you had one first and the second one and then the other. And then you lost the first one. Oh gosh. But I mean, did that situation kind of bring some level of hope to say, you know what, at least I know that I am able to get pregnant?
It's a mix. It's a mix. Because it happened. I know that it can happen now. But if I cannot bring it forth.
That's another.
I
That's
cannot
another
bring
story.
it forth.
That's another thing you have to do it.
Like, what is it? But I had the dream. I had the dream that a witch shot me in the back with an arrow. Ooh. And I woke up crying. I knew something was wrong. I knew it. I knew it. God gave me the dream. And I lost the baby. Was it supposed to happen? We may never know. That's why I said I was ignoring the devil. But you can't, some people that fight you. You can't stand up and take the lick. You have to fight back. I was literally ignoring the lick. Oh, excuse me? Okay. That's what I was doing. But you know what? In that season taught me how to fight back. That's what it took. I had faith. Everything I did in my life was peaceful. My favorite story in the Bible is Job. That's my favorite story. I knew that. All right, then. God had do something. He must have do something. But in the it broke us. Me and my husband, we wept.
Oh my God.
We wept.
The shock.
Wow.
Me and my husband, we watched the shock.
Hey, we
That shock,
wept.
that, and we wept some
And this was
more.
at public. The thing is, when you go to public, you have to date to somebody pay attention. Maybe it could have been said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're under a lot of stress. I don't know.
Yeah, but
But
yeah.
I got the defense. End of it. I didn't even get to home with baby 5 minutes. I was shocked. I was confused. I was
So what I'm getting is that it's really heartbreaking to get pregnant and lose that baby.
It is. Even if I think it's even more heart-wrenching when it's your first. It was bad for Sean and I because we were not expecting. We just didn't go on with it. I thought I would have to do surgery again and all of that, and then we got pregnant and we weren't even financially prepared for, but we were excited because,
yes, we got
yeah, God,
double
here
switch
comes
up, huh?
Naomi, because I heard Naomi, so I knew it was a girl, and I said Naomi Faith. When I went to the hospital, and it was on our 5th anniversary. No, it wasn't on our anniversary that we lost that baby. When the clock struck 12:15, they called me up, and I was at the hospital viewing from 6:30 p.m. that day. And when they called me, because the belly felt sick during the day, and I was feeling pain, and then it stopped, and I said, no, man. Based on my first experience, this seemed a little bit. Because after you've had a child first, the second time you start to feel the flutters quicker. And so I started feeling the movement, but on that day, and it was a Tuesday, I wasn't feeling the baby. So going over into the Wednesday, we went to the hospital, and at 12:15, they called me. No, for me, it has never been easy. Whenever I go to the doctor or the hospital, I'm two things. I look for the heart flicker and I look for movement. I was not seeing any of that. And I knew. And I said, God, don't tell me. I said, God, no, don't tell me that this is it. And the doctor, she was there for a while. And then she left and she went for a scene. I said, Sean, where are you looking? Sean was exhausted. Simply, but they pay attention. I said, Sean, I don't like what I'm seeing. I said, next time she come in, just look on the monitor. I still have that image of my baby girl in my head, that lifeless body on the monitor looking back at me. I still, and that broke us. Man, Sean, we almost separated. Not because we didn't love each other, but stressed out. And I was crying more than Sean, not understanding the dynamic of that. I felt like he cried the first few times, but then after a while, it was just me for months. And I felt like, okay, am I the only one who lost a baby? And the Lord, long after I remember going home because he would send me back to the hospital, send me back home with the dead baby in my belly. And I remember bathing and I was like, God, how can she be a faith child and be dead? How can this be a faith child and be dead? And I was still worshiping and the song that says, the promise still stands great. And I was just crying in the bathroom. And then the following day I had to go do the procedure. They induced labor and I woke up in the middle of the procedure as well. And scream out and what do I have to say to her?
I mean, we could talk about your story all day. My mics, they're dead. Both of them died. So we are projecting.
Okay.
Right? But I really, 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 really am inspired. What I can say I get from the both of you is that you did not give up. You kept working the spiritual and the natural. You put up a fight because if you don't ever fight with the both of you, would not become mother now. All right. Welcome back. So listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Sashana and the Georgia story, really, really impactful, empowering and inspiring, motivating, encouraging, all of the A's. So we cannot do this in one episode. Because then you won't be sitting for so long. We would have, like 3 hours, right? So what we'll do, we'll definitely continue this discussion in part 2 next week. But I want you to leave a comment. Share with us your story. Because just maybe Sashana's story, you can relate to it. Georgia's story, you can relate to it. I'm not yet a mother, you can relate to my story. You are still in the waiting. And one thing I've learned from these ladies today is that this journey, this whole matter of getting pregnant as a woman is a journey, especially when you meet up on some speed bumps. But one thing I know is that we have the same God.
Yes.
We have the same God.
Ooh.
We are not lifting our soul up to a false God. We have the same God. We serve the same God. So he may work different for Sashana in a different timing, and different for Georgia in a different time, and of course different for Nikian. But guess what? We have the same God, and he can work it out for you, whatever your journey looks like. God will work it out for you. Anything you want to say until we come back now, part 2?
Get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready for part 2, because you guys don't hear anything yet. Georgia don't tell our story yet, and Sashana definitely don't finish our story as yet. I'm so grateful. Thank you guys for coming. The sacrifice, just coming and sharing your story with me. I was kind of nervous, but you make it easy. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
All right, guys, we do this again next week with the same 2 women of God, Georgia and Sashana. And I want you to type, we want more, you want more. Share it now. Share it. Tell somebody that this is worth watching. All right? God bless you until next week. This was Discovering the You podcast. What good?
Somehow you always find a way to make everything okay. And when I didn't know which road to take, you told me to follow my dreams. I am all that I am today because of your faith in